Imagine walking into a basement as somewhere in Middle America on a Saturday morning. The stairs creak under your feet and the light changes as you descend. Warmer, closer, the smell of sawdust and something faintly electrical. Then you reach the bottom and you stop, because filling the entire room from wall to wall is a landscape. Mountains built from foam and plaster, their peaks dusted with white. A river valley running through the middle, crossed by a trestle bridge with individual wooden planks. A small town on the far side, a diner, a grain elevator, a courthouse with a clock face, each building constructed by hand from kits or from scratch, painted and weathered to look like somewhere real, and running through all of it on tracks laid with a precision that would satisfy an engineer, a train, moving at exactly the right speed, smoke rising from the stack, headlight cutting through a tunnel in the mountain. Before we go deeper, we welcome you to Truly American, a home for patriotic screen junkies established right here in God's green internet. Hit subscribe if you love America. This is model railroading in America, and the people who build these worlds have been doing it quietly and seriously for longer than most of the technology around us has existed. To understand where this started, you have to go back to the railroads themselves. In the second half of the 19th century, the real railroads were the single most powerful force reshaping American life. They moved people and goods across distances that had been functionally impassable. They built cities, killed others, opened the West, and defined the economic geography of the country in ways that are still visible today. The railroad was not background to American life. In that era, it was the main event, and when toy manufacturers in Europe and then America began producing small-scale versions of locomotives and cars, the appetite for them was immediate and enormous. Children wanted to own a piece of what they watched roaring through their towns. Adults, it turned out, wanted the same thing. What began as a toy evolved into something else entirely. By the early 20th century, manufacturers like Lionel and American Flyer were producing equipment with levels of mechanical detail and operational accuracy that went far beyond what any child needed to play with. Hobbyists began building layouts, track arrangements with scenery, structures, and operating features that reflected the actual practices of real railroads. They studied prototype equipment, meaning the full-scale trains the models were based on, with the same attention that historians gave to primary sources. They formed clubs. They met in each other's basements and in rented church halls and community rooms. They shared techniques for building convincing landscapes, weathering rolling stock to match photographs of the real thing, wiring complex track systems that could run multiple trains independently without collision. The craft grew more demanding with every decade, and the community grew tighter around it. Club layouts became landmarks in their own right. Organizations that had been meeting for 50 or 60 built permanent or 60 years, with layouts covering hundreds of square feet, designed to be run by multiple operators simultaneously and displayed publicly several times a year. Visitors who walked in expecting a toy train display left having watched something much closer to a coordinated performance. Operators in different corners of the room communicating by radio, carefully timing movements to keep traffic flowing across a system of main lines, branch lines, sidings, and yards that mirrored the full operational logic of actual railroads. The knowledge that lives inside these clubs is genuinely irreplaceable. Members who have been in the hobby for 40 years carry an understanding of mid-century American railroading, the equipment, the operating procedures, the geography of lines long abandoned that exists nowhere else in living form. The railroad companies whose operations they model are gone. The towns those railroads served have changed beyond recognition or disappeared entirely. But in the club layout, a consist of freight cars from 1952 still rolls through a landscape built to match what that stretch of track actually looked like, operated according to the timetable that actually governed traffic in that era. It is history kept alive, not in a museum case, but in motion. What draws people into it and keeps them there for decades is harder to explain simply. Part of it is the scale. There is something specific that happens when a person builds a world small enough to hold in their hands and then actually operates it. The problems are real problems, electrical, mechanical, aesthetic, but they are contained, solvable. The satisfaction of a layout running cleanly, every detail correct, every train moving on time through a landscape you built yourself, is a particular kind of satisfaction that people who have felt it tend to describe as unlike anything else they have found. Nobody builds a serious layout quickly. The ones that get finished take years of weekends. The ones that never get fully finished are still worth building, because the building itself has always been the point. Somewhere in America tonight, in a basement with the door closed, and the rest of the house long gone quiet, single light is burning over a layout that is not finished yet. The trains are running anyway. They always are.